In our business, we get asked all the time, where are the best deals? We're going to talk about that in this video. In Southwest Florida, the best deals right now are in new construction. If you haven't considered new construction previously, now might be the time. Right now, you might want to really be looking into new construction, and we're going to talk about why. Before we do that, let me give you a little bit of context. Let me frame it up a little bit for you. We have 12 listings currently in Southwest Florida. Some of those listings sit in or compete with neighboring communities that are still building new construction. And in those situations, we're getting pretty consistent feedback when we get showings. The buyers are basically telling us the new construction offers are just too compelling. And here's the deal. When you're considering new construction, you got to be a little more flexible. If you can be more flexible in exchange for that right now, there's a lot of incentives. It could be incentives towards upgrades, whether structural or design. It could be closing cost incentives. It could be rate buy down incentives. And because we're in so many deals and we're part of a large brokerage, we know what deals are being made. There's unadvertised deals. So like you want to be working with someone that does a lot in new construction who might know a little bit more than what's just on the piece of paper that you see. Before we dive in though, I have to tell you there's a crucial step that has to occur, and that is registering us the very first time you go into new construction. If you don't register us on the first visit, we may not be able to help support your sale or help you negotiate the best deal. It's really that important, and many builders, that is an inflexible rule. In some cases, and the market has slowed some, you might have the ability to add someone after the fact. I mean, if you just said, I'm not signing a contract without my agent on the contract, they might do it. But again, it's still the exception. So I don't want to overplay it, but you have to add us to the contract at the very, well, not the contract, but you have to register us at the very first meeting for us to be able to assist you in new construction sales. And keep in mind, at the end of the day, they work for the builder. Of course, they're going to help represent you and they want your best interest, but don't fall into the trap that you're going to get a better deal. It's simply not true. You're not going to get a better deal, but they will. And I want you to think about this because it's probably something you may not think about. When you go and buy a house, you buy one house, maybe you buy two. You know, it's not like you're going to buy a whole bunch. Builders like to work with realtors, and that's why they pay out of a different bucket, usually out of a marketing budget. But at the end of the day, we can bring multiple people to the builder. If we have a lot of success in a neighborhood or love a neighborhood, love the what incentives, frankly, that builders are offering, you know, we're going to put those in front of more people. And at the end of the day, that's why builders oftentimes will want to reward realtors, because again, we can bring multiple deals to them, not just one. And listen, the same kind of advice goes for open houses. If you want to go to an open house, make sure you tell the agent you're already working with a realtor. At the end of the day, they might give you a little more freedom to just let you walk the house and see how it feels, if it's the right fit for you. And hopefully they won't hound you. So, you know, remember, just tell them, hey, we're working with Angie and Jeremy, and then hopefully they'll let you. All right, it's time to get into it. So now, new construction can be overwhelming, especially depending on certain builders. Some builders only have a handful of options. Other builders have hundreds and hundreds of pages of slide decks that they run through when it comes time to design and structural upgrades. Are you building from dirt? That's whole different than buying a spec home. So there's a lot of things that we'll talk about as it relates to new construction. One thing to consider is how much do you want to personalize the home? And when I say personalize, I mean, do you want to pick floors? Do you want to pick countertops? Do you want a special cabinet maybe? What color cabinet do you want? Depending on the level of upgrade and the level of personalization that you want in your home, is going to help influence which builder you should be aligned to. Now, with our help, we will guide you through every step of the process. And in the building from dirt scenario, we're going to help you pick the right lot. Which exposure do you like? We always hear about southwestern exposure, but there's plenty of exposures that some people prefer. Do you want sun in your pool? As an example, you know, there's many exposures that will do that. How much covered space do you want? And shade, quite frankly. Everybody wants a little bit or something different. We can help you really identify which exposure is right. Then we move into upgrades, and especially structural upgrades. We're going to help maybe influence and inform which ones you think might be the right ones. And then it comes to design, and you know what? There's a lot that can be done after the fact. So imagine you're in the room, you're going through this 100-page slide deck of which door do you want? Do you want this door? How about these stairs? What spindles do you want on the staircase? It's exhausting. That process takes 2 to 4 hours depending on the builder because of the amount of upgrades. Wouldn't it be nice if you could look over and you see me going like, or Angie, telling you, helping you, maybe decide which ones you want or don't want? Because at the end of the day, that's where the builder's making their profit. Usually it's a 50% to 100% markup on those upgrades. So, keep it in mind. There's a lot of things that you can do after the fact. So then the next thing we'll talk about is the contract. There's a lot of steps in new construction, but one of the things that sometimes is missed by agents that don't work as much in new construction, and it's in the contract. If you go it alone, you will see it, but you got to know where to look for it, are the fees. And the fees can be significant when it comes to new construction. So we want to make sure that our customers are eyes wide open, fully understand what the capital contribution might be, how much the irrigation connection fee might be. We call them the welcome fees. We're going to make sure you're familiar with them. That concept actually makes me think of a quote I remember seeing, and it said something to the effect of, I may do a job in 30 minutes, but it took me 10 years to learn how to do that job in 30 minutes. You're paying me for the years, not the 30 minutes. It's the experience that you want. So let us put our experience to work for you. You might buy a home a handful of times, and then how many of those are new construction? Just in the past few years, we've done over 50 new construction contracts between Angie and I. And that may sound strange, but that really is the way it works. So basically, you're going to price up a whole home based on what you think you might want. Then you go to the design center, you pick out everything, that gets priced up, and then you decide, okay, well, maybe I don't want a level 6 countertop. I'm going to go with a 4, or I do want a level 6 countertop, and I'm going to lower it to the 2. You're going to make changes based on the amount that your upgrades are going to become. And then a change order gets processed, and ultimately, that's the house at that point that you're going to be purchasing. Does that sound helpful? Maybe you're the type that you overthink every decision. You're thinking about it even after the fact you signed the contract. We've done this personally. We've built, just in the past few years, 2 new construction homes. We've done it, as I shared, many, 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 many times with our buyers. And at the end of the day, we know from our own experience and their experiences what they would do differently. You think that'd be helpful? And at the end of the day, there's options. But mainly there's 2 options. You either do them with the builder or after close. We can help guide you through those conversations, and at the end of the day, help inform or influence which way you want to go, whether you want to do it with the build or after the close. And keep in mind, maybe you're not here, maybe you are. If you've ever tried to get someone to show up for work in Southwest Florida, that in itself is a challenge. Maybe the work didn't come out exactly as you would choose at the other end of that process. We have a Rolodex of people that we have screened, that we have used, that we have referred. And frankly, the role part is probably the most important in the Rolodex. Some of you guys watching might not even know what a Rolodex is. It's like a whole thing that used to have cards, contact information, basically. But anyways, we have a Rolodex of people that can help. And our list sometimes rotates. People roll in and they roll out. And that's because if they don't uphold the standards, they're not responsive, they don't show up on time, they didn't clean up on the job, they're off the list. That is what we get in exchange for their servicing, our customers. We recommend them, and in exchange, we expect them to really handle them the way that we would handle our own customers. Now, that was a lot about options, and at the end of the day, depending on how much you want to personalize, you might not even be in that boat. So we're going to have those conversations up front. We're going to help guide you towards builders that are going to match the type of home you want at the end of the process. And don't worry, in any scenario, we're going to help and make sure you understand exactly what you're paying for and what you're getting in that contract. The builders are offering some really great incentives right now, whether it be rate buy downs, those incentives towards upgrades, but there's a lot that's also going unadvertised. One of the reasons we joined Premier Plus Realty, that's the brokerage that we're with, there's 1,500 agents in Southwest Florida. You can imagine, I suspect, the learning that we get from the collective hive, as we'll call it, 1,500 agents all negotiating deals and being part of real estate transactions. We bring a lot more knowledge to the table than when someone goes in and tries to negotiate a one-off deal. But let me tell you a little bit of a story. I'm going to put this feedback up on the screen here. This is feedback that recently came from a listing or a showing at one of our listings. And it was very specific. This listing or this buyer's agent actually shared with us the deal that they had in a neighboring community, exactly the pricing, the incentives that were being offered. And yeah, we got this because we've done other transactions with this agent. So we have a level of detail and knowledge. Again, back to, you want to be working with people that are active, that are busy, that are part of real estate conversations in the area, because we're going to have more knowledge to help inform your decision. These incentives can make a huge difference in the overall cost of what you're going to pay for a new house, but you need to know how to find them and where to get them. that's where we come in. If you're considering new construction, let's have a conversation and we'll make sure that you get all the incentives, even some hidden incentives maybe, to ensure that you get everything that you want, everything that you've dreamed of in your new home without some of the headaches. So reach out today, let's get the conversation going, and let's get you started on the journey into Southwest Florida. Remember, getting you the best deal is our mutual goal. But how might our experience walking alongside you in the process make you feel? Do you have a question? Are you looking for more guidance? How might that help? Do you want another opinion when it comes to designing the home? Maybe choosing the right community, picking the right lot, the right floor plan, everything that goes into choosing the perfect home for your lifestyle? Isn't that worth a call? Let's get on the calendar. Let's put something together and let's talk about how this might be best for you. I wanted to close and put up this quote. It's actually a testimonial from one of our customers. They actually moved here from watching some of our videos and content that we put on YouTube. I think it's pretty compelling as to the help and value that they found and why they chose to work with Angie. We're grateful for Caitlin and Dale. We're grateful for all of our last customers. We're grateful for you. If you found this helpful, please share it with anybody else that you think might benefit from it. Like it, subscribe to the channel. We're going to create content like this every single week. As I shared in the opening, new construction might just be the best deal there is right now in Southwest Florida. Let's help you make the most of it.
For you so strong.